Welcome to English Easy Hub. Join us as we ignite the flames of your English learning journey together.
Please subscribe to watch and embark on your English learning journey. Don't miss out on the exciting content. In this dialogue, Simon seeks guidance from Professor Smith on how reading can enhance his English speaking skills. They explore various techniques and methods, emphasizing the importance of active reading, summarizing aloud, shadowing native speakers, understanding cultural contexts, and setting achievable goals. The conversation provides a comprehensive approach to integrating reading into language practice, aiming to improve vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and overall fluency.
Good morning, Professor Smith. I've been thinking a lot about improving my English speaking skills, and I was wondering how reading might help with that. Could you share some insights on this?
Good morning, Simon. That's a great question. Reading is indeed a powerful tool for enhancing your speaking skills. When you read, you are exposed to a variety of sentence structures, vocabulary, and idiomatic expressions that you can incorporate into your spoken language. How familiar are you with the concept of active reading?
I've heard of it, but I'm not entirely sure what it entails. Could you explain it a bit more?
Certainly. Active reading involves engaging with the text on a deeper level. This means not just reading the words, but also thinking about their meanings, the context, and how you might use them in your own speaking. One way to practice this is by summarizing what you've read in your own words. Have you tried summarizing books or articles aloud before?
I usually take notes, but I haven't tried summarizing them out loud. How does speaking the summaries help?
Speaking the summaries aloud can help reinforce your understanding and retention of the material. It also gives you practice in organizing your thoughts and expressing them clearly. When you articulate these summaries, you get to practice pronunciation and fluency, which are crucial for speaking. Plus, it helps build your confidence. Have you noticed any challenges when trying to speak in English?
Yes, sometimes I struggle with finding the right words, and I often worry about making grammatical mistakes. It makes me hesitant to speak up.
That's a common concern. Reading can help with that too. When you encounter new words or phrases in your reading, try to use them in sentences or short conversations with yourself or others. This will help you remember them better. Also, pay attention to the grammatical structures used by authors. Over time, you'll start to internalize these patterns and use them more naturally. How do you usually choose what to read?
I mostly read articles and short stories that interest me. Is that a good approach?
Absolutely. Reading materials that interest you will keep you engaged and motivated. I would also recommend diversifying your reading sources. Include a mix of fiction and nonfiction and explore different genres. This will expose you to a broader range of vocabulary and expressions. Additionally, consider reading aloud occasionally. This practice can improve your pronunciation and rhythm. Have you ever tried shadowing?
No, I haven't. What is shadowing?
Shadowing is a technique where you listen to a native speaker and try to speak along with them, mimicking their intonation, pronunciation, and pace. It's like a form of linguistic imitation. You can find audiobooks or podcasts for this practice. It helps train your ear and tongue to the nuances of the language. Do you think you could incorporate this into your routine?
That sounds interesting. I think I could give it a try. What about understanding cultural contexts? How important is that in speaking fluently?
Understanding cultural contexts is very important. Language is deeply intertwined with culture, and understanding the cultural references and contexts can help you use the language more appropriately and naturally. When you read, you get a glimpse into the cultural background, social norms, and values of the language you're learning. This can make your conversations more meaningful and accurate. Have you had any experiences where cultural differences affected your communication?
Yes, a few times. I sometimes don't understand jokes or references that native speakers make.
That's quite normal. Humor and references often require cultural knowledge. When you come across something you don't understand in your reading, take the time to research it. This will broaden your cultural awareness and enhance your overall language proficiency. Engaging with native speakers and asking them about these references can also be very enlightening. How do you feel about discussing books or articles with others?
I think that would be beneficial. Discussing with others could provide new perspectives and clarify my understanding.
Exactly. Discussions can deepen your comprehension and give you more opportunities to practice speaking. Consider joining a book club or a language exchange group where you can discuss what you've read. This not only improves your speaking skills, but also makes the learning process more social and enjoyable. How do you feel about setting specific goals for your reading and speaking practice?
I think setting goals could help me stay focused and measure my progress. What kind of goals should I set?
Start with small, achievable goals. For example, you could set a goal to read one book per month and summarize each chapter aloud. Another goal could be to learn and use 5 new words or phrases each week. Additionally, you could aim to have a weekly conversation in English, discussing something you've read. Gradually, you can increase the complexity of your goals as you become more comfortable. Does this approach seem manageable for you?
Yes, it does. I feel more confident about integrating reading into my speaking practice now. Thank you so much for your guidance, Professor Smith.
You're welcome, Simon. Remember, consistency is key. Keep reading, practicing, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every step you take brings you closer to fluency. Good luck, and feel free to reach out if you need further assistance.
Speaking of mistakes, how can I better handle them? Sometimes I feel really discouraged when I make errors in speaking.
That's an excellent point, Simon. Mistakes are an inevitable part of the learning process. Rather than seeing them as setbacks, view them as learning opportunities. When you read, pay attention to how certain phrases and grammar are used correctly. Try to emulate these in your own speech. If you make a mistake, take note of it and correct yourself. Over time, this practice will help you refine your speaking skills. Do you find it easier to remember correct usages when you read them in context?
Yes, seeing words and grammar in context definitely helps. It's easier to understand how they fit naturally into sentences.
Precisely. Contextual learning is powerful because it shows you how language is used in real-life situations. Additionally, you might want to keep a journal of new words, phrases, and grammar rules you encounter while reading. Write example sentences for each entry and practice speaking them. This method reinforces your learning and helps you recall information more effectively. Do you think you could incorporate journaling into your routine?
I think so. Writing things down helps me remember them better. I'll start a journal for my English practice.
That's a great idea, Simon. A journal can serve as a valuable resource for review and practice. Also, don't hesitate to revisit and revise your entries as you progress. It will help you see how much you've learned and keep you motivated. Another tip is to engage with interactive reading materials, such as books with accompanying audio or digital platforms that offer listening and reading activities. How do you currently use technology in your language learning?
I mostly use apps for vocabulary building and sometimes watch English videos online.
Those are good practices. Consider expanding your use of technology to include interactive reading platforms. Many ebooks come with audio versions, and there are apps that highlight text as you listen. This can enhance your reading and listening skills simultaneously. Additionally, you could participate in online forums or social media groups where people discuss books and articles. This provides a space to practice writing and speaking in a less formal, real-world context. How do you feel about combining these different methods?
It sounds like a comprehensive approach. Combining different methods could keep the learning process interesting and dynamic.
Exactly. A varied approach keeps you engaged and exposes you to multiple facets of the language. Ultimately, the goal is to make learning enjoyable and effective. Remember, the more you immerse yourself in the language through reading, speaking, listening, and writing, the more natural it will become. Do you have any specific topics or genres that you particularly enjoy reading about?
I enjoy science fiction and historical novels. They're fascinating and often full of interesting language.
Those are excellent choices. Both genres can significantly enhance your vocabulary and introduce you to a wide range of language styles. As you read, try to pay attention to dialogue and narrative styles. Think about how the characters express themselves and how you can use similar expressions in your own speaking. Have you ever tried writing your own stories or dialogues based on what you've read?
No, I haven't. That sounds like a fun and creative way to practice.
It certainly is. Writing your own stories or dialogues allows you to apply what you've learned in a creative context. It helps solidify your understanding and gives you a chance to experiment with language. Plus, it's a great way to practice both writing and speaking skills. You could even perform your dialogues aloud or share them with others for feedback. Do you feel ready to start integrating these new techniques into your routine?
Yes, I do. I'm excited to try out these methods and see how they improve my speaking skills. Thank you so much for all these helpful tips, Professor Smith.
You're very welcome, Simon. I'm glad to see your enthusiasm. Remember, the key is to stay consistent and be patient with yourself. Improvement comes with time and practice. I'm confident you'll see great progress. Keep me updated on your journey, and feel free to reach out if you need any further guidance.
Professor Smith underscores the multifaceted benefits of reading for language learning. He suggests diverse reading materials, active engagement with texts, and interactive practices like shadowing and discussions. By incorporating these techniques, Simon can build confidence, expand his vocabulary, and develop a deeper understanding of cultural contexts. The dialogue concludes with practical tips such as journaling, using technology, and creative writing exercises, all aimed at making the learning process enjoyable and effective. Simon leaves the conversation feeling motivated and equipped with valuable strategies to enhance his English speaking skills through reading.
Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share to keep the English learning journey alive.